As we celebrate AAPI month, it's important to acknowledge the diverse communities within the AAPI umbrella. Today, we have a special guest joining us to shed light on the Filipino experience in the U.S. Please give a warm welcome to professor, author, and advocate for Filipino history and culture, Brandon Riley. Brandon, thanks for joining us today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so Brandon, let's start by discussing your work as a professor. Could you tell us a bit about your research and teaching and your upcoming book?
I am an associate professor in history at Santa Monica College, where I teach classes in world history, East Asian history, so Japan, Korea, China, and Southeast Asian history, which is my specialty, as well as recently U.S. history. Really proud of the work we've done at the Ethnic Studies Task Force. My specialization in history, why I teach, is I received a PhD in Filipino history at UCLA. And so my core competency is in the cultural history of the Philippines. Um, I'm now working on a book, among other projects, that looks at the history of the oral epic genre in the Philippines. So the Philippines, like a lot of other places in the world, is a place where there are these lengthy oral narratives that are recited, usually over some special occasion, a funeral, a planting, a marriage, over the course of successive hours, often over many nights, sometimes over a week or more. Um, they've existed since before recorded history. Only in the last 500 years have people begun to write about them, describe them, video record them, audio record them. Once those performances have been recorded, what have those documents meant? That's a central question that I get at with my book, which I'm working on, hope to have out in a couple of years.
All right, we're excited to check your book out too. And with your profession as a professor, could you share your insights on the relationship between Filipinos and the broader AAPI community?
Yeah, one time, this is so long, it was like in the 80s. I was rummaging through my grandmother's desk for no good reason, just looking for stuff to play with. And I came across this document which she filled out for some form. And she described herself, she checked, there was the only box she could check on, as an Oriental. At the time, I didn't think anything of it, but it was weird to me. I never heard that term before growing up in the 80s. Come to find out later on the importance of that term. So fast forward to now, I've been through college and all that. I've had the opportunity to learn about this. I'm indebted. All Asian Americans today are indebted to the struggles of our grandparents, great grandparents, who in America have fought hard to no longer, for instance, be called Orientals. Pioneers of the Asian American movement. So, as a Filipino American, proud Filipino American, I think back about all the struggles of all that have come here before us and all the things that they've done for us. So that, for instance, we're not racialized as Orientals, as my grandmother was, in the 70s when she came here.
I mean, that has such a rich history with leaders like Larry Itliong. Tell us about how he and others paved the way for better rights and opportunities.
Yeah, he's a great example of someone who simply came here for work, just looking to make a living for him and his family, but encountered conditions of, really horrible workplace conditions, exploitation of his labor, lack of fair pay, and things like this. And it's no coincidence that he came into, an America where this is primarily people of color, Latinos, for instance, that are laboring in agriculture. And so, because of the conditions he found himself in, he has a storied history now where we celebrate all the wonderful things that he did in his activism. So I think that's telling that one of the first Filipinos that we know of, even though Filipinos have been in California, believe it or not, for over 500 years, we came first on the galleons, somewhat involuntarily, landing in places like Morro Bay.
Yeah, and what message would you like to share with our viewers about the importance of embracing and celebrating Filipino heritage?
Do it first and foremost. I have the privilege of working with an organization called the Filipino Cultural School. We're founded in 1965. We are the oldest Filipino cultural educational organization in the United States. We're about to celebrate 60 years of being here. And what we do, by and large, is particularly for K through 12 students, expose them to Filipino culture, to Filipino history. For people in Sacramento, we have a summer program that's about to start, headquartered around here in Downey. So what I'll say about FCS is, growing up, I didn't have a lot of opportunities to access the culture that I grew up in. There's certain habits I had. I grew up listening to Tagalog Filipino, but I was encouraged to just speak English because that's what, if you came to the U.S. after 1965, that's what you do, you assimilate. And so the fact that we're able to provide a place that is supportive, where there's people who are trained in Filipino culture, Filipino language, Filipino history to educate the youth about who we are. It's really something that for me personally is an opportunity that I think many of my generation would have loved.
Yeah.
Having to be part of it.
Yeah, well, congratulations on the 60 years of the school, and I'm glad that there's a virtual option so some of us out here in Sacramento, NorCal area can check it out. Thanks so much for joining us today, Brandon. For more about Professor Brandon's research, courses, and writings, you can go to brandonjriley.com and connect with the Filipino Cultural School by going to filipinoculturalschool.org.